I am recording now. So, hello everybody. My name is Philip Kyle. I'm joined here today by John, who's going to give a personal statement of how the witness, Kim Christensen, better known as Kim Lakefort, um, and how John was literally set on the path of seven-fold wisdom and knowledge. So, how are you doing, John?
Well, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Literally just gonna hit you straight from the get go. Li- uh,
Right.
begin
What
begin
would you
from
want? Yeah,
begin from the
carry on.
beginning. At the breaking point before you met Kim. Where did it all go wrong, John?
Where did it all go wrong?
Yeah,
I was born.
the day you were born.
Yeah, man.
Talk before
The
like.
whole thing, Philip. Everything that you've learned from him about how much deception there is in the world, how much we've been trained and herded all in the wrong ways. It all started the day you were born. That's the
Yeah,
day it went started going wrong. Now, I don't reckon it carries on for the first 2 years of being born, although you are hearing it all around. It's all the you still hear it as a baby. But really, going to school then. Maybe I started going to school, but I was born, yeah, same as you.
yeah, man. I hear you. I hear you. Is it like So let's say let's talk about before
Just hold
everything.
on, Philip. Yes, mate. Harry, what's wrong? Come over here. Come over here. I'm talking to Philip.
Hello, everybody.
Have a look. Can you see him? He's a dog with a hat on.
Hey, champ. Nice seeing you, mate.
The dog's not talking. Philip is.
Yeah, that's my dog. But imagine me being a talking dog, man.
Yeah, that would confuse everyone, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But yeah,
Are you
like,
going back upstairs, mate? All right. I'll see you when I get up there. All right.
oh,
All right
bless you.
then, Philip. Where were we? Where were we? Going to school, right? These boys are not going to school.
Yeah,
That's a
man.
fact.
Bless you, mate. Bless you, mate. It's like, so basically, what I want to get in with this question is that let's say from 5 years ago, where you literally had like this mess and how you were feeling and just everything like before those 5 years before you met Kim. So let's say 5 years ago, how the whole situation was in your situation, and what really made you come to that breaking point of realizing, fuck me, this is a this is a mess. Like, where did it all go from there, right?
Hindsight is a wonderful thing,
Yeah,
and when you start looking back and you start seeing the dots, it also helps when you can remember things. And I've certainly learned remembered a lot more of everything since I've been listening to Kim on his videos. As far as your 5 years ago, I was asked a question once. He said, "Where do you see yourself in 5 years?" But before you answer that question, where were you 5 years, and what did you expect then, and where are you today? And with that, you realise you'd gone nowhere. So I changed a few things after that. But as far as Kim goes, um, breaking point. Listen, I don't know. It's been confused for many years of not understanding why nothing works in society and people and works and colleagues and everything, and just kind of come to accept that for what it is. But with Kim, he's kind of he shows you ways and he shows you what you should be seeing, and it's really quite astounding. It's incredible, really. And I mean, Kim goes at it holistically. There's everything at once. You can't say one thing. He's got to say four things to explain one point. But once you get that perception, it's really quite gentle viewing, to be honest with you. But yeah, I was the time I met Kim on the video. Not that I've ever really met him, but it was just in the lockdowns with everyone else. Really, he got questions after questions, and at one point I just had enough, really, and I screamed into the cosmos, and I was just I just said, like, I don't want to be here anymore, and I've got no suicidal tendencies, but I just didn't want to be here anymore. Probably in about 3 days, one of Kim's videos pops up, and at first I didn't really understand anything. It was just a wall of noise. It was a mass distortion, and I couldn't really get to it. So I just switched the video off and I went to another one, and And basically the moment he opened his mouth, the minute the first vocals came out before he said the first word, I knew that everything was truth that he would say. It was like absolute everything. So at that moment, I had my faith. It was just there. It was just instant, and been listening ever since.
Ah, that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Because you realize the whole world is turned upside down, and how the programming, the human condition, literally like twist us into suffering from amnesia. We lose track of ourselves because we are getting into the system and literally just being thrown to the four winds, literally thrown to the wolves, man, and just programmed to entertain like the system in general and let it
It
like
is. It is like that, but that's just how it is, you know.
yeah,
Uh, it is, you know, and you kind of got no choice really. But well, you do have a choice. There's always choices, you know. There's always left or right, you know.
yeah,
But you're not left or right, far left, or anything. I meant just like your choices, yes or no, etc. But if that's just the way it's been, and that's the way it's been growing and evolving, you kind of like you're just in it straight away, you know. And I'm very quite lucky. I've had a family like I do, especially my dad. But yeah, it's yeah, you need him. You need to be able to hear what he's talking about, and it's very important to pay attention. You know, I quite often listen to his videos twice. There's always more to hear. Some, you know, there really is. You know, and yeah, you got any other questions? I'm losing my voice on this one.
no worries, man. But yeah, like it's just like you said, John. It's like it's the feeling when you're watching Kim, right? As something that literally like connects with you in more ways that is literally like it's undescribable, right? It's like it's something that connects you through, let's say, this media in general, or his videos, that literally ignites your like I would almost say like spirit within that, literally like, oh man, like did I really like your story, like your life? That's something in your past life, literally like coming back. Is it? Would you say that like in a way that you get
Well,
touched?
one of the most astounding things about him is very often I would be watching him, and after a matter of months have gone by, when everything that he was saying was relative to my situation. There were many similarities or perceptions or whatever he was saying, but at times I would feel like he was directing to me personally. And often I would be thinking something through the day, and then he would address it within a video or two, or just things like this. But then I started realizing that's not me. There wasn't just me. There was everybody. Everybody was going through this because everybody's listening to him, and everyone feels like he's relative to them personally. And that's one of the most amazing things about how Kim is getting to everybody, because everybody's feeling like it's personal to them, and it is. But how can you make one video message to thousands upon thousands of people and connect to each one of those individually on their personal circumstances? That's just fucking incredible.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing because he has a
The message has
gift.
got to go through, you know. The message has got to go through.
Yeah,
If you've got 8 billion people on the world, and 8 billion people got their own mindset and how they're thinking, their views and all these things. So the message is a very simple one, but it has to get through to everybody. Now, one message is not going to get through to everybody because they're going to hear it and recognize it in different ways. So the message must come through, and it does come through in an enormous amount of different ways. That way, everyone can relate to it and hopefully stay with it and listen to it and carry on. You know, I know most of them don't. It's, you know, what do you do? You know.
and that's the thing, right? Because it means something to you when you watch these videos, because it ignites a feeling within you. Like,
It often pisses people off, and they think, oh, I'm not fucking listening to him.
see,
You
see,
know.
see. That's what I wanted to ask you. How do you react? Like, what's your like? That's the thing, right?
Well, sometimes he makes me laugh.
Yeah, yeah,
He really makes me laugh, you know. But I'm not laughing at him, don't get me wrong there, but sometimes I'm like, wow, okay. Um,
It's more the less
but when he's
the
shouting and
message.
everything, I learned a very long time ago
Yeah.
that you should listen to what they're saying and not how they are saying it. And then you can hear what they're saying. After you've heard what they're saying, then you can start taking notice really of how they're saying it. But it's not just always angry, always swearing. It's he's talking with passion. He's got drive. He has intention. It's not just thrown out there in the wild. Everything is put down for a point, and it always comes through, and it always brings it together, and it always ends well. Always. It's the way he comes across is very beautiful. There are glimpses where you have like a flash, and you will see something about him. And mostly when that happens, it's always gentleness.
That's the right word for it. That's yeah, I hear you, man. That's the right word for it. Um, so in regards to like getting these feelings, like and just seeing how it changes you, and when you look at the broader picture, what like do you as I asked before, do you have this feeling of literally like exploring this and like a drive to literally like understand what it does to you?
Could you define it?
So basically, your condition, let's say your spirit, your character, does it
Mm-hmm.
does it have anything that literally like gets your curiosity, gets your attention, gets your drive to do so much more with yourself?
Okay. All right. Well, in 2 weeks' time, I'm handing the keys over to the house that I'm living in, and my wife and three children and myself are going on a working holiday, if you want to call it that. But we've got a big country here in Australia, and my kids got two at 5 and one at 9. It's a good time to see the world, this world country. So we're going to, if you want to call that drive, pun intended, we're driving off,
Yeah,
and we're going up and around, and I'm getting them away from the suburbs. Basically, I've got my girl out of school, and she's incredible. The two boys have never been in school. They are doing amazing things, amazing, in comparison. We had the end of year inspection for the homeschooling. They came around. Everyone's in a bit of a flip flap about how it's going to go because of the way I schooled, unschooled. Then there's a very broad word there. The children. But anyway, she came over. She did the test, and the result was that the girl is almost 3 years in advance of the rest of the what the standard is for schooling in the educational system in this country. And the boys are already well over a year in advance of what they expect, and that comes from not going to school.
yeah, man. It's true because the system literally makes you dumber, or let's say keeps you in change, right?
Makes you dumb. You can't fucking think for yourself.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
can't.
Make
You go through life. You've got many jobs. You go and you do it. You make it work, and then they come over and they say, "Oh no, that's not how you do it." Well, it's done, isn't it? It works, but no, it's how you have to learn it in school. And
yeah,
if you're not doing it the way you learn it in school, then you're wrong. And that's been one of my major problems through life. I would do things, and they would say, "Well, it's not what you learn. That's not how you do it." But, well, there's 1,000 ways to do it, and this is one of them, and it works just as efficient. It does the same job, but because it's the way I did it and not how you meant to do it because of what you learn at school, then the whole world turns around and goes, "Oh, you're wrong. Oh, you're dumb. You're stupid. You don't know anything." Uh, and um, and then after a while of listening to Kim, it kind of dawns on you after a while that actually I'm not dumb or stupid or wrong. It's them, the rest of the world.
yeah.
I've turned that one around. I've turned so many things around 180, and it really is nothing short of incredible. So
It
my life's different now.
yeah, man. Because you literally like answered my other question is because it's daunting to realize what the system does to you in general, what it does to your kids, what it does to you, and how it provokes all of this negativity. and literally feeds on negativity and literally like causes you to struggle in life, right? And
Hmm.
what I would get from that is basically because you have watched or listened in general to Kim, it has like ignited an understanding, a deeper understanding within you, right? Of this of
First
daily
of all, I
life.
was understanding Kim and what he was saying, and with regards to Enoch and God and the time we're in. It's not a story, but it really is an incredible story. But it's not a story; it's real. And understanding that was quite phenomenal, and that brought around remembrance, and I started to remember many things that went back into my childhood, as you're meant to, and go over the things you've done wrong, and and remorse, and always holding the 8 keys of righteousness. With everything you do or say, if you just try and make sure that it's within inside of those 8 keys, then you can't go far wrong, if not always right. Even if you don't know at the time. Well, what I started to remember gave me another understanding deeper of myself, but also of the world around us, and the family, why they were over the years, and remembering doing things in life, whether it was traveling or working or just sitting in a field, and it changes, and your perception kind of matures. The way you look at it grows, and your remembrance as well. And what happens is your mind becomes empty. When it's not empty, it becomes larger because you have less in it. It becomes more full. If you understand that,
Yeah, yeah, you have
I
a bigger perspective, right? A lot
yeah, man,
massive.
it's really good, and it really is just starting with you, And listen, I'm 52, and all of my life, I've really, whenever I hear people talking about the high life and the yoga or the hippie, whatever it is, hippie dip shit stuff. I've never really been have any interest in that whatsoever. I've never really joined groups or followed people or anything like that. Listen, the day Kim started talking was the day my life stopped and started.
Yeah. So let's explore that because like how was it for you to literally like explore that and just understand?
Well, it takes time, Philip. It
Yeah.
takes time because yeah, you need to consider everything. You really have to really go through everything that he's teaching you, and it is always about you, and you're important, but also of your environment and everything around. So it takes a lot of time, and it's we're all still on the long journey, I see people have gotten very far, which is good, and a few have or haven't. I'm really hoping that these type of words are going to help people. Um, yeah, I don't really know if I'm giving you the right answers here. I can only really tell you what I know,
See
feel.
what I'm getting from this is yes, because it's a lot of work, a lot of self work, right? And that's what
Yeah,
I
but it's easy work. It's
yeah, yeah.
easy work. It's not hard.
Yeah,
You've only
it's
got to sit
common.
there and
It's
fucking
common
remember.
sense. Yeah, it's not it's more or less the programming, the chains that people has to break because they're so.
Yeah, man. If you change your perception just 5%, your world will fucking rock.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was like trying to get at
And
because
once your perception changes, it happens in a fucking instant
yes,
because you have that realization, that penny drops, whatever you want to call it. But that happens, and you're like, oh, wow, okay. Then it's different.
it's the
Much, much, much different.
it's the realization. Exactly, man. It's the
And then many of
realization. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because you have to open each door in your mind,
them.
literally understand that you can do so much more that you hold back by all of these obstacles that the system or the condition that we suffer from, like fear, amnesia, all of these things holds us back because we're not living up to our real potential. And
I think one of the biggest fears is they might think I'm wrong, or am I going to get in trouble for this? I think that's probably the biggest fear, and that really sparks off a lot,
yeah,
you know. A lot of people say they're not scared of anything, and they but that I always ask them, are you? Do you go against the rules? Oh no. So you say you're not scared, but you're too scared to break the rules. Like you know, they still stand in line. Basically,
Yeah.
they still stand in line. There must be a point in everyone's lives because I've had many where you just get there, and many times I would just come to the end of the road literally when I'm riding bike, and I'm like, I didn't want to go somewhere I was meant to be going, and and I just go the opposite direction. Why? I had nowhere to go. I'd lose everything. I lost my job, place where to go, but I'll go this way instead. And when you go that way, and everything has changes, and then suddenly you find yourself, you still got some friends, you still got a job. It changes, it goes on, but people are afraid to let go. And this fear, and then you find yourself in the comfort zone. And the comfort zone is everyone has their own comfort zone, but you do need to break out of that comfort zone. I'm comfortable here. Oh, this is all right. I'm happy. I've got enough food. I've got this or whatever, TV, whatever rocks your boat. But that comfort zone is where you stay. Okay, there is one good analogy to try and explain what the comfort zone is for people, right? And how you break out of it. If you've got two tall buildings next to each other, and we'll just say on the first floor, there's a big plank from window to window, and on the other side, there's a little bit of money, $5,000 or whatever. You'd walk across that plank, then you go up to the third floor, do exactly the same thing. There's still a lot of money at the end, but some people will buckle because they're out of their comfort zone. But the other people, they're still comfortable to walk across that plank to get to the other side to get the money. Okay, but then you go straight up to the top of the 24th floor and put the plank across, and I bet you 99% of people say fuck that, and and they won't do it. No amount of money, so they're out of their comfort zone. But how do you get out of your comfort zone? And then it starts coming into your instincts, your natural instincts and things. So on the other end of that pole, of that board, you don't have a pile of money. But you have one of your children, and someone's poured fire on them, and they're just about to set fire. And I'll bet you'll run across that plank.
Oh, that was good.
There you break out of your comfort zone. And once you've
Yes.
broken out of your comfort zone, you've done it. And you have that little bit of confidence more. And you're comfortable again where you are, which was more than last time. But you're still in the comfort zone. And you've still got to move on. And
Yeah.
people are scared moving out because I don't know, am I going to get cold? Well, whatever pathetic reason they are, not they are, that it is, but there's a comfort zone, and people are driving around. There's another thing what some people say is they're driving around, okay, in their life, and they're happy and they're good, but it's just I'm just trying to get it's a little bit hard work, and then you release the handbrake and you fucking go. Kim was releasing your handbrake.
Yes. It's buildings like, especially like what I'm hearing is Kim explores your self confidence in taking the leap over this blank or going over
Right?
that crossing, right? And it's as I hear it, it's something that activates when you're, for example, hear Kim speak from the heart through his passion, right? Oh shit! Hang on. Oh god damn it. So what I'm getting at in the conclusion of this is that people need to explore their confidence by returning to that faith in oneself to actually journey outside of this bubble, this as Jeremy Griffiths, or Plato, should I say, says at this cave, right? And how it literally causes a a fear and anxiety, and it literally like causes the body to literally eat itself up, right? And
People don't know, Philip. They don't know. I didn't know. You
yeah,
didn't
yeah,
either.
exactly. We suffer from that
No one
amnesia.
knows.
Yeah.
There are people out there that do, but we don't know. And Kim's like getting the people to know this. He's bringing you what you do actually need to know, what you should be knowing,
Yes.
for remembering stuff and knowing who you are, man. This is what it's trying to do, so you can wake up so you do know who you are. And this doesn't go back to when you're 2 years old because your memory doesn't work. And this goes back fucking thousands of years where you've got all the data and everything. Kim explains about your history, not just history on this planet from the day you were born, but your history as your soul. who you are, what you've done, the memories you have from wherever you've been before and what you achieved or you still have to learn, all those things. And we don't know those. We don't know anything anymore. You know, I do remember what my great parents knew. I only spoke them very shortly, but my grandparents, I often think of those and what they had in their life, in their memory, in their way of doing things, their how they interacted with people, and all of those things are gone. They're all forgotten. There's nothing left anymore. It's very rare to see them.
Yes.
It's very rare to see them.
It, it,
But what so we've forgotten. This is the last generation. They're fucked. Okay, they got this generation. We got us. We got all the generations before. Okay, but when you get, as it's been explained before, you like just talk about your moral standards. They do improve the further you go back. All right, but
yeah.
we all forgot who we are. I don't know how many generations you got to go back before people will actually start remembering themselves, but it's a long fucking time, and that means you got a lot of things to remember. And this is the most difficult thing to do. It's also very very important, and it's an incredible time to be in, and I'm really fucking. I'm really happy I'm here. I'm
Yeah.
happy that I realize it now. I'm happy that I know that. I'm really happy that I know that because I could do something about it.
Yes.
But now, and I just want to point out at this point, right? Is anyone out there who's listening to Kim and they're still listening to Kim and they're thinking breaking away? Okay, you go ahead. Okay, but it's you really I've lost it. They're gone. That thought's gone. When I have to say something else now. Sorry about that.
No worries, man. No worries.
I had
It
a point, but I've forgotten what it was now.
it's the condition people need to understand, that we're all in
I'm
the
still
same.
understanding. I was conditioned to.
Yeah. Exactly. It's the understanding that we're all in the same boat. We're all suffering
It's
from
not them
this.
and us. It's us.
Yeah. And they need to remember, right, that we all literally have forgotten the lessons of time through the ages. We have literally forgotten what it means to be human. And what would you say that people in what would you advise people to do, when listening to Kim, rather than being judgmental or throwing all words to the four winds in regards of judging, and not paying attention and actually listening from the heart? What would you like advise people to do?
Have some patience.
Oh yeah. That's powerful. Have some patience. Like listen with the heart and s- shut your trap for a moment and just pay attention, maybe.
Yeah, they have to pay attention, listen, and when Kim says do it undivided, what he means is um, stop doing other stuff when the screen is on. Sit down, put the screen in front of you. Sit on your hands if you have to. Stop pissing around on another message or text while Kim's just talking in the background. It's not there for the fucking entertainment.
Yeah, exactly, man. So what we're getting at here, folks, is return to your primordial state of consciousness, of being a loving, compassionate creature with loyalty, honor, respect, moral empathy, and remorse, with encouragement and inspiration, and understand that you can break the barriers of the human condition, sorry, by literally listening to Kim Lakeford, who gives you the tools to break free and understand the suffering, the timeline, and putting the pieces together through, the day to day life, and how society as a whole literally has torn us to pieces to cause us to divide. And what I'm getting at with this interview here with John is literally to showcase you, the courage and thoughts and literally the feelings going through John's life, because he's a changed man, as you can probably hear through this interview, and how much, listening to Kim and discovering his inner self has inspired him to do so much more. And what I'm getting at is that this is how we connect with one another. This is how we find out that there's so much more to life rather than going to, as John said earlier, going to school, going to work, going all of these things that we need to explore is that we need to explore what actually made us human in the first place through our feelings, through our self, through our identity as a species. But yeah, man, I just wanna thank you, John, uh, from the
We're
bottom.
done.
Yeah, because apparently we're running out of time because I haven't. We literally like went through all of the questions I had, man. You're an absolute legend, but
Can't we just do another meeting? Carry it on.
yeah, yeah, we can do another meeting and I can collapse it through. But let's actually do that real quick. Hang on. So this is section one. Let me make another meeting to set that up because apparently there's a upgraded version. So hang on.
I'm here to say, look, I know you've all forgotten, but I'm here to tell you what it is that you need to remember. This is how you do it. This is why. And if you want to understand it, there you go.
Yeah,
And the message basically is, you're all back again. You were stuck up there. You knew why you was up there, and now you've come back and you've forgotten again. But your parents and everything are not teaching you. So I'm here to tell you this is the crux. If anything, I can only imagine in my warped, well, not warped, in a way my mind. Anyway, I just say it how it is. So it's kind of like God's gone. Look, I'm giving you chance after chance after chance, and you're still fucking it up. So this is your last one, and you're gonna be stuck in a good place or a bad place. It's your choice, But I'm trying to teach you. I'm doing all this and trying to lead you, but the devil's got you by the fucking balls, and you're not fucking listening. And this is Kim. He's got everything you need to know, and this is your last chance. But it's not last. It's just the last chance of this time round. And this time round, you're not on this planet, So you're going into a good place or you're going to a bad place.
yeah,
You know?
yeah. The dimensions are
And who
splitting.
are you? Who are you?
Who are you? Why are you here? And what's the meaning of
Mm,
life? That is the three
you
important
know,
questions, man. And
there's a few answers out there.
yeah, there's a lot of fucking answers out there. It's just more that people need to be open enough to actually accept this.
It's after nine. Faith, number one, points. That's it. So fucking easy.
I'm gonna like so yeah. Let's continue because I just want to explore that because what we talked about earlier before we got cut off is
Are you recording?
yeah, you bet. So literally what we've been exploring is that people need to be aware of their own demons. They need to realize that through actually having patience that they can open doors in order to not only better themselves but their surroundings through faith in themselves, which is most important here, and how
But
Kim
what faith, Kim? But it's all about
confidence.
faith. A
Yeah.
lot of priests and pastors out there that all say the word faith. A lot of people say faith.
So
So, people go, oh, faith. But the
yeah.
faith is in Kim's words. There is your faith. And listening to
Yes.
him, you'll find your faith. You will find that faith in yourself. This is true. Faith is such a blasé word nowadays. That I have faith that the light's going to go on every time I switch it on. I have faith that the door's going to go open when I turn the handle. That's how easy it is. But this faith in life and God and what Kim is saying is also very easy. It's really just very easy. I can't explain how easy it really is, but it's huge. It is huge. I mean, the word faith. People need to know. Well, they don't pick it out of the air. They've got to know. By listening to Kim, you will know what the faith is. You will find it by listening. It's very important. You just need one little click, one little glimpse, one little spark, and then the rest will glow. But there you find your faith through Kim's words, through Kim's teachings, and the teachings that he is teaching is from God through him. And if people out there will question that or laugh about that, there's a few videos out there as too. But faith is faith. If you don't have faith, read his books. He's only read a book.
Yeah, powerful, powerful, John, powerful. Because it's that easy, right? It's
Yeah,
that easy. It's more or less the individual who has to accept that they are in
yeah,
the wrong and they need to sit down. Just like you said earlier with patients, people need to shut down for a moment and actually listen rather than throw random dirt to the four winds, right? They actually need to sit down and just listen and learn rather than
yeah.
thinking
Kim
themselves
said
better.
so many different things, and so many of the different things, they're all relative. Only it only takes one of those things for a person to click with, and then they're going to be starting listening some more. But for the people that don't have the click yet, to get them to listen to him is near on impossible, regardless of sending them long lists or short lists or just one link at all by mail or text because you can't write it down. You speak to them later, you know that they haven't. You just know that they haven't just by way they're talking, and they try to up it up in conversation, but you know straight away that they haven't by not so much what they are saying, but what they're not saying. You know, but they won't see it, they won't know it, they won't realize it. You've got to pay attention. Not everybody will. They just they won't. They don't. There's no interest in it whatsoever. They're just it's quite incredible trying to talk to many different people in different ways. I mean, in the very beginning, um, I would just go, "Do you believe in God?" Or "Do you know we're in the ring? We're in the end times." Or "Do you believe in days of Noah?" Yeah, it was just like talking to a fucking brick wall, and so yeah, you have to try and change your ways of connecting to them. And now I've decided to just sliding things into the conversation, and it gets their attention, but you can't carry on with it. Mostly they'll laugh or they'll make a joke or they'll carry on talking about something else, which is very frustrating when you're talking to explain because it is very important. It's very very important. They just it's just very difficult to talk with them. There are a couple who will listen and go, "Oh yeah," and you give them the details. They're fascinated by the information that you can give them. But it just depends who they are and what information you give them, and trying to get them over to see Kim. It's very difficult. But I've come to realise that now. I've got family. They have no interest. They're just okay. Look, we won't talk about it. We'll leave it as it is. But they won't. Yeah, when the time comes and we're in either one of those places, you're still going to have the same question: is did I try hard enough? Did I try hard enough to save you? You're either looking at it from the bad side or from the good side, but one day everyone's going to be on one of those places. And I think a lot of people are going to be asking, did I try hard enough? And I ask that question a lot.
Yeah, because when you look at it, it's literally the self workout um, you have
The
to
what?
do. The
The self
workout,
what?
yeah, the work
Oh,
your self
workout.
workout, yeah, because you need to
Yeah, it's
understand.
constant.
Yes, people need to understand that because they read a book or judge a book by its cover, that they
Then they
don't know
forget about
anything.
it tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They throw it aside and be like, "Yep, I know this. I know the world is round. I know every single subject is out there." It's like they think themselves all knowing.
Too
When
much. It's too much.
yeah,
It just sends you fast. It's too much. You've got no time to think. You've got no time to space. You've got no space in your head doing anything. And it's really difficult. My boys are 5 years old, right? They're twins. So when they got to the right age, they were always awake at 5 o'clock or 4:30 in the morning, eating bananas. So the only thing on TV at that time was Sunrise, which is a breakfast television here in Australia, Sydney. And I used to get really fucking annoyed with people that asked the dumbest questions, and the jokes they made and what they were laughing about was just not funny at all. And I got very annoyed. But I'm an old man. If I'm not shouting at the television, I'm writing a letter to the council. So um, so like, and then one day they'll be saying, "Oh, this is outrageous," and everyone talking about it at work or on the news or in the newspapers, and everyone's outraged. It can't be. We have to change this. And the following day is something different, and they're outraged about that, and they forgot about what happened yesterday. I'm looking at these people, I'm like, do you not even just see this? This is way before Kim. This is way before Kim, and I'm just wondering what do people actually see in life? the radio station. I had the radio on the other day, the first time in a long time. And the jokes, the conversation was about how you got caught short, how when you needed a shit and you weren't near any toilets, what did you do? And everyone were phoning up with the stories and the laughing and joking. And what the fuck am I listening to? What are these people like? Is this your form of fucking entertainment, you moron? Like, really?
Yeah, it's
You know,
mad. It's mad.
it's difficult. I can't talk to a lot of people. I really can't.
Yeah.
And I'm very straightforward. I say things as they are, and sometimes it goes well. Okay, but at that point, I would then have to go into a more detailed version of what my words were actually saying and get them to see where I was coming from. And 9 times out of 10, they're like, "Okay, yeah, sure, I get that, I understand now, thank you." But yeah, it's I got no time for pussyfooting around with crap anymore. You know, I'm not out there for a fight. I don't go there trying to cause shit or upset apple carts. You know, but most of the time I tend to keep my mouth shut. But when I do, it gets said as it is.
Yeah.
And the good things about Kim, he says it how it is. If it didn't need saying, he wouldn't say it. And what he does say needs saying. And he needs saying because you need to listen. And you need to listen because he's telling you to listen. He's got a lot of things to say, and it really now at the end of it, 1,000 years have gone, and you've gone through your hell, pun intended. You will you know you'll know then kind of like what the information we got now. But you know what the worst thing is about having this information right now, about knowing these things and learning, which is great. But what about the people that are knowing it and they're listening to it, when they've read the book or whatever they're doing, but then they actually don't do anything about it? Now you can feel bad for the people that don't know, you feel sorry for them, but for people that don't know, still don't do anything about it,
Yeah.
then you're just, I don't know what the word is for that.
You're doing head miles.
Devil by the balls,
Yeah.
fucking time. I've
Yeah.
got the answer to life. Here's the answer to the meaning of life. Who you are, where you're going, what you're here for, all of these things from thousands and thousands of years ago. You got the answers. It is the Holy Grail. Here you go. This is it. This is all you got to do. And if you were given that, you would think, oh, fuck yeah, I'll definitely do that. Well, here you are, and here you are listening, and here you are with it in your hands, but you're not doing it.
Yes.
Those people, like, I don't know. That's like if you had the keys and you didn't put the key in the lock to turn it. I can't think of anything. Um,
That's exactly what
that.
Kim is like
So,
saying.
and you're not doing anything, do something.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly. Exactly, John. That is more or less the death effect, where it goes through their head. They think, and it doesn't go straight through the other side. They don't. They don't pay attention. They don't listen. Oh well, they listen, but they listen with their mind, right? They listen with their own voice rather than actually listening to the person giving you the understanding of how actually to uh, use
They're all
common
dumb.
sense.
They're all dumb as dog shit. They
Yeah,
listen
double
to it like,
standards.
you know, they absorb all these flashy colours and not 1 ounce of fucking information. Not anything that can help them. Nothing. So everything is a mass distraction. That devil man, you know, listen, he's thrown out of heaven, so he's got to have the same type of powers as God, right? So he's the Prince of Darkness and all this stuff, right? So man, you gotta have some respect for just that alone, regardless of who they are. But man, he's a sneaky cunt. You know, he's devious and he deluded everybody, and you are deluded constantly, constantly, constantly,
Yes,
constant. Even with us sat here today, I'm aware of this. It is constant.
and that's the
It
thing. That's the
is.
whole.
But you've got to put him back down into the 5%. You've got to be aware of him because he's there all the time. If
Indeed.
he's not getting to you, he's getting to someone around you to get to you, and vice versa. Vice versa. You're doing the same thing. Being aware of it and trying to put him back down into that 5%. But if you're just ignoring him, then you've left yourself completely open. What you got to do is ignore him, and then the rest of it gets filled up with God. He will. He's the one, you know. Anyway, you listen to Kim. I'm not going to preach out. You listen to Kim.
That see that's the exact thing, because Kim gives you the tools, amazing tools to actually work this out yourself. You as an individual have to face this, that you have literally these voices inside your head, and it's up to you to like literally discover that you need to shut them out and literally be like, okay, I am going straight rather than all of these roads that leads to nowhere. I'm going straight ahead. I'm working on myself. I'm building for a better future because I know where I'm going. So it's literally their decision that they need to understand that they are following a straight line, an easy common sense, just without all of these things. I would almost say twisting logic left, right, and center and giving the wrong conclusions. Uh,
They just make up the answers to what the answer they want.
yes, yes. They need to simplify it because
Oh, fuck it. Simplification, number one. I'm doing it
yes,
for you. Take
yeah,
it easy. Not too
yes,
much around for bullshit. Really.
yes. Like they need to
Just straight to
understand.
the point, as is, do the job, get it done, walk on.
Yes, they need to understand the principle of actually stopping the maddening effect of just thinking, rather than just be acting upon the words or teachings or lesson that Kivs gives, because it's that simple. It's that simple that you need to do this in order to get healthy. It's changing your diet, doing this, doing that, rather than constantly fight with your inner voices. They just need to act upon it straight away.
It is a long road to recovery. We're,
Yes.
we're all we're all fucked. Okay,
Yeah.
not fucked, but we're down. We are 90% deficient. Deficient.
Yes.
You're not working on 10%. You are 90% deficient, and I don't understand this. No, right. I don't understand why people don't understand that you're being 90% deficient, right? We all know that you're born, you've got 100% use of your brain, okay? Then you go to school and it depletes and it's gone. We all know this, right?
Yes.
Um, and then we grow up and everyone knows it's a common fact that we all use 10% of our brains because that's how we are. You're only intelligent when you're kids because you need to learn how to talk and walk and that stuff, and then your intelligence is fizz. This is what I was taught when I was growing up, okay? And I just kind of accepted it for what it is. Wouldn't it be great if we could use 20% of our brains like a dolphin and all that shit, okay? But this is where we are. But then you start asking your questions, okay? But then you got your boys outside in the forests and the jungles and the indigenous, right? Now the adults, they didn't go to school, but they're still using 100% of the brain, just like the kids. They're still kids, except they've got the years of experience behind them, plus whatever they have from their skull lives. Now these people are still using their 100% brain because they didn't have the influence that we have in our societies and suburbs. Okay, but here we do. So I don't understand why people do not see this. I really don't. I tell them, I say, if you pick up your phone and got 10%, you freak the fuck out and you put it on charge because you need 100%. If you're going to drive somewhere and you've only got 10% of fuel in your car, you're going to fill it up just so you can get there. And here you are with only 10% use of your brain, but you're not doing anything. You're not doing anything to get there.
Yeah, you overthink or complicate it.
You
Like,
don't see
and
it's simple. It's simple
yes,
enough. What
and that's what Kim brings to the table. Is literally stop thinking, stop doing head miles, stop running around in circles, use common sense. Opposite, like it's not like reverse psychology, but where people say up is down or down is up or 2 plus 2 is 5, right? Because they build this.
it's backwards to your natural state.
Yes, and that's what you literally get programmed with in school, to
The
accept.
closest to any of their natural states is when they go down to the duck pond and feed the ducks bread, and they sit there and go, "Oh, isn't this beautiful?" That's the closest they get.
Yes, that is actually a very good description, man.
It's
Bec-
that feeling. It's that moment, as Kim told you, as said, and you're on a holiday. I fucking love it here. I want to live right here. This is great. And then you go back to work, and the first week you fucking hate it. The second week, and then the third week you're back to where you were like a month ago. But that month on that week or two on holiday where you want to live, that feeling is the same as feeling the dust. You get it when you're feeling shit and you just want to go out for a walk and sort your head out. So you walk through the woods or the fields or wherever you're going, but you find that peace, that serenity, that moment, that connection. And they're all happening, but you're not knowing they're happening. But all you think you're doing is you're sorting your head out, which you are. All you're doing is dealing with the problem. And the people get fucking worried about problems. They don't. You've always got shit to sort out. And what happens is you get someone, it's weighing you down, it's sitting on your shoulders. I'm going to sort this out. So you sort it out, and then people go, "Oh well, fucking hell, I'll sort this out." And then got another problem comes along. Yes, so that's how it works. You've always got something to sort out. So knowing that you have to sort it out, well, you just deal with it. Just sort it out. If it's big or small, you can sort it out. There's always something to sort out. So why waste your time worrying about it and stressing yourself out? All you got to do is sort it out. And everyone's worried, and they've got run around with worry. They're running around with stress. They're confusing themselves with people with things that are going on, and that's it. It is constant. It's a whirlwind. It's a fucking hurricane with this stuff, and yeah.
They should
Slow down.
yes, that was what I was trying to say. They need to slow down. They need to stand on their own 2 feet and stop taking the world's responsibility on their own shoulders and just be like, calm down, take it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, you said it earlier, be patient.
Patience is a virtue.
Yes, take it slow.
I've had that all my life. Patience is a virtue. You reap what you sow, and the other one that I've forgotten. But yeah, that's got patience is a virtue, man. It's really important. And it, you know what about patience is a virtue? Because I grew up here and that. It takes a long time to work out what it really means. You need patience to work out what patience is. You know,
You need to
crazy.
get a broader perspective, right? You need to have an eagle eye vision to actually, and that's the thing, especially what Kim is saying, sit on the fence, don't judge. Yeah, sit on the fence, watch the situation.
Out of you. You're gutless. You got no fucking balls. You make a decision. Stand up for something. And I'm like, well, I don't really, not making much of a difference to me. You know, I see you. I can actually mediate. You know, you're both arguing about whatever the fuck you're arguing about.
Yeah.
By opinion, depends. I can mediate between you. I can see your perception. I can see your perception. I can understand how you can work together and how you can sort it out. Now, I'd much rather be there than being one of these dicks fucking arguing about shit. I'm sorry for my language, but you know, my words come out as they are.
Don't worry. Shit. I got coffee stuck in my throat.
What was that? Kermit the Frog impression?
No, sorry, it was my coffee. I was choking on. Yeah, you cheeky bastard. No, but it is exactly that you need to, and that's the thing you see, for example, in my case with politics and shit. It's all about causing division. It's all about dividing. All about having opinions, rather than actually growing that experience yourself. You are not given opinions, and
yeah, everyone's entitled to their opinion.
Yes, they need to.
There's a lot of people out there who don't understand politics. Okay, I was one of them until a few years ago. Okay, for the longest time, I'd always told everybody, you know, don't talk to me about religion, don't talk to me about politics, because everyone always starts arguing within 2 minutes, and I just really don't want the argument. I'm really not interested in the arguing.
Yeah.
But that's what they do, right? Now, one day, I started reading. I met a girl, and she's like into books. And I can read a book. So I went to the library. I bought the smallest book I could find. It was 92 pages, and it was Animal Farm.
Oh, yes, right? yes, by George Orwell.
I read Animal Farm, and I didn't bother with the write-up in the beginning. So, you know, I kind of felt that was just fucking not pointless. Anyway, forget about that. So I'm reading the story, and as I'm going through the book, and when I finished with it, I understood society and I understood politics and how it works in 92 pages.
Yes.
And I've told many people this, and they think I'm just, I don't know. I don't really care what they think either, but that's how I come to understand. And whatever I learned of this, there's always everything you do, it always comes down to the simple, basic rules, even if there's no rules. Quite often I'd say fuck the rules, but it's always simplicity. It's
Yes.
always simple. When I was working in the kitchen, I'd reorganize the kitchen. And what are you doing? What are you doing? I don't know where it is. I'd say, yeah, but you're taking 5 steps to achieve this product or whatever it is. They said, you can now do it in 3. It's with the same result and it's more efficient. It's just simplicity.
Yes.
Someone said, move it. You know, it's
S-
it's
see
people
that.
make it fucking difficult. They talk too much. Then they think, and it's true. You think.
Yes.
Trying to work out what's the best decision. I saw a program once where they had 2 rooms. They had, in one room they had 12 kids, and another one 12 adults, and they both had the same thing that they had to achieve. And all the adults were sat down, and they had half an hour. They were talking and discussing and deciding for 25 minutes. Then they put it together. They did succeed. Yes. Children got stuck in. They messed up. They but they did it in so many different ways until they worked out. They just jumped in, hands in, and everyone was on the same page, and everyone did it, and they succeeded. But they learned so much more than what the adults did. Sat around talking shit. Get in there, get it stuck in. It's easy. It
Yeah.
really is, and I can't explain it any easier. That it's that easy. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
what can I say?
It,
All you got to do is sit down and watch a video. All you got to do is sit down. Just sit down.
yeah. It's perfect because it's like, for example, take my work as a gardener. Stop working
Your garden.
hard. Yeah, yeah. Stop working harder. Be a lazy cunt about it, right? Like, be stupid about it. Be like, yeah, if I stop dragging your ass out cleaning the bushes, just collect it in one place and figure it out later. Just because
Yeah,
that'd be,
easy.
yeah, because it's oh,
Common
mate,
sense. That's
like
all it is. Common.
yes, like be lazy about it because
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Be fucking lazy. I've
yes,
got I bought a fish tank, and this is how it is. How easy it is. What a fish tank. And every week you change your water. Every week you clean it. Every week you do all this work. And after a while, I thought, fuck that shit. And I did a little bit of a research, and now I went natural.
yeah,
All right. That tank, the parameters in it are perfect. Okay, the fish are alive, the plants are going. There's no filter on it. It's just natural. So now I have to wipe the dust off the top once every 3 months. Yeah, I don't dust much, but I do it every 3 months. That's all the work I got. The water dehydrates a little bit. I pop it up. That's all I do. And all these, and you know why? Because it was yeah, essentially lazy. But is it really laziness? I'm like, why do I have to do it your way that you learned in school? That's the way you were
yes,
taught, or I can do it my way, which is quite easy and simple and really makes a lot of fucking sense. Really, you're pissing around every Saturday afternoon cleaning your tank, and I'm sat in the garden having a fucking beer. You tell me my
yes.
tank's better.
Because
You know,
they're going into nowhere, and that's the thing. Why do you do this?
oh well,
Why? And as it's exactly how you said, like way earlier. Stop complicating things. Stop building on this
yeah,
mentality of working so hard on something that's so simple. And it is what people do because they either watched a video or read about it, and rather than making up their own conclusion, right? About like, why am I doing this? Like, don't asking themselves the very important question: why am I doing the things I'm doing? Am I listening to another guy's opinion, or am I listening to my own opinions, or am I listening to my heart and soul? Be like, well, this is stupid, because it pays to be stupid, and that's what people need to understand. It pays to be bloody stupid.
but
Uh,
stupid is not stupid. It really is just simple.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
just
That's the thing.
not stupidity. It's simplicity.
Yeah, don't complicate things. For example,
Mm.
in my work field, people are thinking literally with their head stuck in their ass, be like, "Oh, we need to sort this out." Listen, you don't need to sort out the cleaning. We do that afterwards. Afterwards, we've been cutting down bushes, trees, hedges, whatever, and be like, "Calm down." And what I am experiencing is people want to have structure rather than just listen. We go down here. The client has been ordering us to do this and that. Follow those instructions. Don't complicate things with your eyesight and be like, oh, I want this to go this way. No, 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 no. We follow the exact instructions and don't complicate it. And then you work it out yourself. And that's what you see everywhere in society. For example, in
I'll give you an example of simplicity, Philip.
yeah, yeah, let me hear it.
Um, so I had a shop that in Belgium, an adult store shop, and anyway, some shit went down and I had to go to court. So I went to court and all of the everything was in Dutch. I was in Belgium at the time. Okay, it wasn't my first language, but they gave me the contracts and they gave me all of the lawyers' papers and all of these things. And as good as my Dutch was, it wasn't that style of language that I had learned. You understand the paper well, they use bigger words to really mess it up. So anyway, I ended up going to court and I blew him out the fucking window and won. Easy. You know why? Because I read it backwards. Everyone starts at the beginning and
Yeah.
they follow and absorb all of this information, and all it is there to fucking trip you up. Is all to confuse you, and they say it's like this, and you say, "Oh, great!" You close the book, but then there's a clause on the next page that changes it, and all this shit, right? So to understand it, I had to read the thing backwards. Okay, I read the last pages because that's where I found the best information. So yeah, it was just a couple of hours, not understanding the language, not understand having any training in courts with lawyers or anything else like that. Within a few hours, I read the whole thing backwards and then went in and I just spoke. I just spoke as honest as I could. You know, the honesty sword. It can be double-edged sword. I've realised that before, but you know what? It's honest, and it really is the best way. And once you go in with it with just pure honesty, even if it makes you look bad, you say it anyway. You know, because people cannot knock you down. They cannot knock you down. And in another case, I was up against really bad, probably the worst lawyer there was. He was a real cunt. Everyone realised this. So even the lawyers said it. They said, no, he's the worst one. The police were laughing at me because of whatever. We went to court a number of times, and I sailed through every single one of them with ease. You know, I stayed there. I kept things simple, and I kept it honest.
Yeah.
It. And I walked away. I'm not going to say the word scot-free because I wasn't in trouble, but I just had to deal with this situation, and I did. And I walked away with not a scratch. You know why? Because everyone's fucking around and arguing, and these details and that, and this is because of this, and this is because of that. And I just went, no, this is the simple way. It's the easy way. I'm not interested in your bollocks. And I walked out easy. Twice, you know, on two different occasions. Once with one lawyer, another one was a couple of times, you know, but two different sets. So, simplicity, man.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That goes as well. Honesty is its own reward. And because you
Always.
are so straightforward and speaking from the heart in the sense through saying a spade is a spade, stop complicating it. Or that's the same you see with language, with words. Now, like, it's all changing. That's because they.
Facts. When you tell them the truth, and they know you tell them the truth, and they know
Yes.
that you're morally, and they know that you're correct. They know that they're wrong. Firstly, they don't realize you're right. They know that they're wrong. They don't fucking do anything except argue, change conversation,
Argue and
point out
debate. Yeah.
how they're right about, you know, and it's I don't
I
know.
I hate that word. That's because I hear it every single day. That's your opinion. As your truth. That's your narrative. And I'm just like, "Ah, come on, fuck off. Because that's the program, and you see it with my generation, especially John, with the millennium ages, talking about we're better than everyone and more or less ridiculing the elder and be like, yeah, 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 that's I've read in a book that it says that climate change is not a thing. I've read in a book that the world is flat. All of those kind of spiels, and be like, yeah, yeah. Now because I've read that book, I've come to this conclusion that I'm better than you.
Well,
Uh,
why do people argue about the flat Earth? I mean, what what's the fucking point? You tell me. I don't understand it. I
so
look out my back window. I see a tree.
yeah,
I see the neighbour's bush and a fence line. Now, if the world is round or the world is flat, when I look out my window, I see a fence line, a tree, the neighbour's bush, and nothing fucking else. It doesn't change. Flat all round, makes no fucking difference. Why they got to, you know what I think it is like, oh no, I just have to be right. They don't care what the fuck they're saying. They just,
Exactly.
there's no fucking difference. One day you'll find out, oh, it is round. It could be a square. I don't fucking know. But when I do find out, I'll know then. But until then, when I look out my window, it looks the fucking same whether it's round or fucking flat.
See, you said it
You know?
earlier, John. Like, people need to understand their failures and learn from them, but people don't do that. People rather be right or perfect or better than everyone. Like, it's like, it's mad. It's because it's turned upside down. People don't get it that you overcomplicate things so much that you want to stay on top all the time. You see it through schools, like kinder. It already starts in kindergarten where you have these
Oh, mate.
teachers. It's
They-
like
they-
it's mad because more or less, and I totally understand what you said earlier in regards to what Kim is saying, because he gives you that perspective where you have to go back and actually explore these things of like, oh man, and
what kids give to you is what you need to know.
yes, he gives you the
You,
tools to
it
explore
gives
this.
you for you and
Yes,
you. It is. It is. You mentioned about kindergarten. I want to make a point on that. What goes on in Germany is this: when the young children of 2 or 3 or 4 years old have achieved something, when they've made something, what the teachers have to do is they have to jump up and down and throw their arms in the air and go, way, yay, yo, because that's the only way they recognize their achievement. Because they are on their screens playing whatever they're doing, and they go up a level, and all this fireworks and confetti flies out everywhere, and it goes, yay. So that's what the kids recognise how they've achieved something. And I said to the teacher, I said, why can't you just talk to them? She said, there's no point because the parents drop them off at 6 or 6:30 in the morning, and they have a screen when they're walking in. They're carrying a screen,
yeah,
and they pick them up at 4 to 6 or 6 in the evening, and they put them in the car, and they got a screen in the car. And the parents say when they get home, they put them in front of a screen because they can't handle the children whilst they're
yes,
out the rest of the world. So they're fucking around in their own life. In the meantime, the children are growing up, and obviously, just by those children in that kindergarten, they have no communication or connection to the life force and the emotions and people around them. There's no showing of love. There's no affection from a screen, and they have none of this. They're growing up emotionless,
yes,
and I think it's quite disgusting, really. I really do. My 2 boys did go to a kindergarten for 2 days a week, and on Tuesday and a Wednesday. Tuesdays and Wednesday evenings were fucking nightmare. The kids went up the fucking wall every time. And I said to the wife, I said, I'm telling you, it's because it's in there, because it's the military. They sit down, shut up, do what you're told, all that crap. And you don't know what they're saying. You don't know what their personal views are. You don't know what their family values are. You just don't know. But you're giving your kids them quite freely.
yes, exactly, mate. That's spot on. That's
Right.
spot on. It is
I
that
took them out.
discipline.
Yeah, I took the kids out. I said, look, and on that Tuesday and Wednesday, nothing. I said next week put them back in, and then they started going mental in the Tuesday and Wednesday evenings again. I said that's it. They're out of daycare. And then I said the girl, she's out of school as well. And listen, it's only been improvements. And you know what? I'm learning from my kids. I was after some point listening through to Kim about your natural instincts and what you got to do and all these things. And I'm sat there and I'm looking at them playing around in the garden. I'm like, right, that's it. I'm going to change everything now, which I have done. I'm well on my way now. And I said, that's it. I'm going to take them away from the house, get them out of the suburbs, put them in the sticks. So I'm going to teach them everything they need to know about their instincts. And with that, I realised, what the fuck do I know about my instincts? I haven't been taught them. I've lost them,
Yes.
And so what the fuck am I going to teach them? I don't know myself. So I've been learning from them. I've been letting them go. They don't have rules. They have no regulations. They're off. They're going. I tell you what. They're first thing in the morning to last thing at night. They are playing, running, jumping, laughing, giggling all fucking day long, and they are observing and they are learning. They've learned all the numbers. I ain't taught them their numbers. They know their numbers. They go, Dad, what's 4 what's 4 plus 4 plus 3? It's 11, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, how do you know? And it's because it's on the kitchen tiles. That's four of those, and there's three of those. I'm like, wow, okay, and this is how they're learning all by themselves. All by
Yes,
them.
building that confidence because it's
And
taken away.
yeah, they're unity now between these three, bickering, arguing, all of this stuff. They've gone. God, you know, they for 95%
The
of
division,
the time.
the division is
They do
gone.
fight, but they're good.
Yeah, I follow you, man, because it's
But
like,
you know, it's much better, man. The unity, the family unit is so much stronger now. There's so much more happiness. There's more glory. There's more love. There's more laughter. There's more commune. There's more
yeah,
community binding between us. There's no television, okay, and there's no radio. And that's been for a number of years for different reasons. And now there's no school. I know this last year they are amazing. Everybody says your kids are so friendly, they're so polite, they're so well mannered, they're so beautiful. That we can have conversations with them about stuff you normally wouldn't have with any children that age ever. And so look, it's much better. It's much better. You got to listen to those kids. And you know what? Where we're going, I'm 53. What am I going to do at 53 if I'm going to get through there, without the kids? They're the next generation, So we have to know to lead, yes, but we have to be able to teach the kids. The kids have to know. You've got to start with the kids. You learn with the kids, man. And, people think it's always just me. I'm going to be saved and all that stuff. But no, you got to look after the kids first, man. Well, you got to push the kids through. That's my main intention. Kids go through first when the time comes and all of that, and whenever all this thing goes on and all that, kids go first. You know,
quick, we're gonna
they're
like,
the one.
yeah, man, because I want to
That's the one.
explore
Yeah.
this. I want to explore this because it's a great point. Let's call it for now, and let's call you up in a second, mate. So, what you just said earlier with the kids and whatnot, because oh man, like they are getting judged from the get go when they get into kindergarten. Let's say you have a lot of
Yeah,
energy.
I know.
So, my grandparents, as I told on my own page, with my own experience, is you are getting judged the moment you enter kindergarten. Like, if you have a lot of energy, you're not allowed to be yourself and an individual. Everybody needs to be in a hive mind state where everybody needs to be the same. Everybody needs to be this, as you said earlier, this disciplined, well functional robot. And what I experienced already in kindergarten was that I got judged because I had so much energy. So much fucking energy. I ran around, jumping trees. I wouldn't stop being out in nature. I was constantly outside. And because of that, I got a sticker right in my forehead saying ADHD. I was like, what? And my granddad, my parents even was like, what are you on about? He's so full of energy. Activate this boy for fuck's sake. Put him outside. Let him play with sticks. Let him do these things.
Get dirty. Eat mud.
Yes. Explore life, because what society is doing, especially in schools, is you sit and it's just what you said earlier. Sit in a table, sit here on this front of this disc, be quiet for 8 hours, come home, sit in front of a screen, and be happy about it. The same cycle repeats every single day. And what I know from my life is, looking back at it, it's like I was so quiet. I was like this curious boy sitting in the middle every single time, and people came to me because I just wanted to be with everybody, just having laughs, joy, everything, right? And it's just like you said about your kids. We don't need a leader. We find a leader in the group, and it works out naturally. If we don't. And that's the thing with kids. They work it out themselves naturally. Be like, yeah, let's say in the moment, let's say we're a group of 10, and then John is more or less the upfront character, and he's the one that acts like a leader. He says, okay, let's go out, play with sticks, let's act act like we are knights or we fight a dragon or whatever, everybody follows you because you're
Are
the
you sorry, sorry, it was irrelevant what I was going to say. Sorry for
no, no, no.
interrupting you.
It's fine. It's fine. It's basically that kind of environment that is not allowed. That we all need to do. We all need to go in and play in a playroom, or every boy needs to play with cars. Every boy needs to sit on his ass because he has so much energy. He's not allowed to be a boy anymore, and they
Let the
complicate
kids
things.
be kids, man.
Yes,
They
exactly.
learn by playing. They learn by
Yes.
playing. That's what they do. Let them fucking learn.
Let them get dirty. It's just like you said. Let them taste mud. Let them climb down from a tree themselves and
That's it, man.
it,
You,
it,
you fall off your bike, well, fucking stand
get
up
up
then.
again. Yeah, get up
Come
again.
on.
Get
Not heartless.
scars.
You know.
It's spot on what you said earlier because looking at the world at large, especially with what's happening to my nephew. I don't have kids, but I'm listening to guys like you, John, because it gives me a broader perspective. Being like, fuck me, it's actually something that's happening, and people are not paying attention to it. How the system in itself is eating us up.
Yes, but it is subtle, Philip, and it is around. It comes in like whiffs of smoke.
Yeah,
And if you can see it, you can start noticing it. This is true. But for the most part, people don't see these things, the subtleness,
yeah,
you
they go
know.
along. They
If
go
it's
along
not
with
a
it.
TikTok video or it's not on the news, then it's not worth listening to. But they listen to that, even though they forget it the next day. And but it was worthwhile listening to. Then listen to another piece of shit the following day. It's very subtle what's going on, you know, but it is around. Or you know, people don't see it. You know, I was one of them. You know, I don't want to say I was one of them. I often saw a lot of things. I've remembered many things which seem quite irrelevant, and it's only in these last few years of hearing Kim, I've those irrelevant points have become quite fucking substantially important. You know, but that's just not that's just um
You yeah,
next.
spot on, John. You realize your errors. You
Yeah,
realize the damage. That's what people need to understand. In when you it's just like Plato and Jeremy Griffith says, and we've talked about this earlier. When you leave this bubble, when you leave this nightmare, and actually it's gonna get confusion. It's gonna be like, whoa, what is happening? It's gonna be complicated. And it's just like you said, perfect metaphor with the blank, where you and the levels and everything you said in regards to going over this like line or whatever, and actually taking that leap of faith or understanding. You need to simplify things. You need to understand that you're a victim as well. And in regards to like going back with your kids and whatnot, because that's so golden. That rule that like, yeah, people need to understand as a parent, you're learning with the kids. You're learning with. That's the thing. When you become a parent, you learn with the kids. You'll be like that. Don't fall on like. Don't make the same. You try to like you. People are more or less trying to enforce children to behave a certain way rather than being a supportive role. Because
I know,
that's
and that's where a lot of the stress comes from parents because they tell the kids to do something and they don't. Well, there's your first argument straight there. There's your first piece of stress. Why? Because the parent is not realizing that the child is in his own zone anyway. He's in his own zone, but the parent is like trying to get the child to do something when the parent wants it to do it, and the child doesn't because that's just the state they are in those through those young ages. But the parents don't see this. They just go, "Oh, never fucking listens to me. All I always do is tell him to do it. He never fucking do it." I said, he just goes off. Well, yeah, that's what kids do, you know. But they don't realize that they're just putting what they think is right, or what they think is what should happen.
yes,
You know, now I'm realizing, well, your parent, you're thinking what you think is right, and that parent over there is thinking what that parent is right. None of them have got it right. And there's thousands, millions of parents across the world doing the same fucking thing. And they're going on at the kids. sit down, do as I say. When you do this, I told you to do that, but you didn't do it. And that's really 90% of all fucking arguments between kids, you know. Then you go to the shops, it's 4 o'clock. Obviously, they pick the kids up from school and there's no food in the house, so they go and do shopping. You know, look, it happens, right? It happens. But when they're giving their 9-year-old kids an energy drink and a bag of jelly snakes, and then the kids loses his fucking nuts in the shop, you know, and then the parents shouting at the kids because they're going crazy. Well, you just give them a fucking energy drink. The cunt's 9 years old, you know, and he's hungry. You know, come on, what do you want? But they're not even just realizing that around their own immediate environment inside of that family, just even noticing that they are doing it, that they are saying the wrong things, you know, and
Yes.
even just realizing anything about the situation, it's just you, fucking, and it's just fighting. Why? There's so many other ways to do it, and people are just they're not aware of certain things around them, you know, and they're not being taught by the parents. They're not being held. You know, the kids are getting pregnant at 15 and 16. They got their kid, and what the parents do now, they say, well, you're old enough to fuck. You're old enough to take care of your own kids. You know, it's like they've got no guidance from the parents. They've got no leadership given to them. They don't know what to do with their child. But what happens is the child grows up, they give it a phone because they have a break,
Yeah.
because the kid's being quiet. And then they're shouting at the kids, and then the kids drop chips on the floor. Then they shout at the kids like, "You just dropped all these hot chips on the floor." What does the parent do? Kicks them under the table. Like, no, I saw this, and I'm like, come on, you can't shout at the kid about dropping your hot chips on the floor, which isn't that big fucking deal in the first place. But then, by showing them your authority and leadership and what you should do with the hot chips, you just kick them under the table. What does that kid know? Oh, well, it fell on the floor. Just kick it under the table. And next thing you know, they're chucking shit on the floor, and they do, and it's. I can go on a lot,
I mean,
a lot about these things, you know, and it's only through observations, and I can get since I've been listening to Kim, right? Since I've been listening to him, when I start talking to people, I'm actually all right today. But when I start talking to people, I get my whole body really starts it starts vibrating on the inside, you know, and it's like someone's really like trying to push its way out. And what I have is this feeling of this hand, like a big fucking hand, just like pushing me through my back. But the hand is the size of the whole of my back, and it's just pushing me, and it's almost like it's shouting at me, going, "Oh,
yeah.
oh!"
Yeah.
And you're meeting the people and you're talking to them and they're not listening, and then you're like, oh, but you can't not try and get the people to come to Kim. It's really important that they come to Kim. I really want to get that focus. If anyone listens to this interview, I don't know what you're going to do with it, but look, it's really, really is important. And you can't just walk away and say, oh, fuck that, I've got no time. Just give the man a couple of videos, man. Just give him a couple of videos. And, you know, if it doesn't work after that, well, okay, all right. But at least
Yes.
you gave it right? Give it a go. Give it a go.
Absolute
Right.
beautiful, man. Beautiful. Preach, man. Fucking beautiful. That is awesome. Well said, man. Because it's that simple. It's that
Yeah.
simple. Especially when we talk current subject about kids in general, is that we're taking away their innocence. We are, as parents, we're not acting as adults anymore. We're acting as children. We're like children. That's the stupidity of it. That's the
What do they have to learn from their parents or the grandparents anymore? Maybe not the grandparents so much, but what do they have to learn from them? I mean, what did you learn from your parents and your grandparents? I'm sure it've been wonderful things and great morals and ethics and stuff, you know. But there's none of that today.
yeah, yeah,
There's
yeah.
none of that.
That's the thing. We're not allowed to explore. For example, let's say uh, my example as a child with more of a traditional family coming out from the countryside and stuff, right? We just had so much more freedom to get dirty. Like, really, like, oh yeah, sure, you came home with some broken pants and torn, I should like
I
torn,
came
torn.
home caked in mud from head to toe once.
Yeah, man. Like, but you just went to the shower and just everything would brush it. Sure, there's a discipline, and
Yeah.
I experienced the bad side of tough love as well as the good side. But fuck me, man, if I didn't experience that kind of love where because we need more of that. Rather than saying 1,000 words, act upon the real love.
Consideration, the big thing.
Y-
People are not considerate anymore. They have no consideration for anybody else.
yeah,
You know, they'll park their car. For example, they park the car awkwardly in the car park. You know, you're going over the lines. It's like, do you not have any other consideration, considering it's a busy car park? Somebody else would like to park in there. It's just that consideration. You
yeah,
know,
very
it,
egotistic.
in the shop, the old lady can't take something off the top shelf. You know, give it to her. You know, it's there's no consideration. You're right about the love. You know, we do need more love. It's very true. But it's not. People hear love today. It's thrown around that
It's
word so much.
perverted.
They don't
Perverted.
have no real meaning to it anymore. And they think it's just fucking. They think it's just sex, love. You know, it's
Yes. So
that's lust. You know, we've all been there. It's fun. You know, it is. You know, it is. But that's not love. You know, love. You know, it hits you. Love. It's not something you think. They look nice. The hair looks good. You know, it's got a nice job. Or I like the way the voice sounds. That's not love. That's just liking. And as far as it comes to physical, and then they take it from there. They don't grow. They meet someone in the pub. You know, if you meet someone in the pub, you first attraction is always physical. That's the reason you went up to say hello in the first place, because you think, oh, she looks all right. You know, it looks like a bit of fun. But it's always a physical attraction. You know, and after a while, you know, you start realizing, well, I actually quite like this person, and then you start those things start to come. Sometimes it's faster, but that's when your kind of love is there. And people don't see that; they just get stuck on fucking. You know,
yes, yes.
I don't
It's
want to say making love. It kind of like tracks what I'm trying to say.
it's the perversion of the meaning of the words that is disappearing. Like
Yeah,
it's the same when you learn about compassion. Well, yeah, you're gonna be compassionate about the world and all of that stuff, but if you're not doing that to yourself, how can you really learn about compassion? If you know what I mean, it's the self education that you need to understand. You can't just go out and be saying that because I do this and that, because I support Greenpeace, that everybody needs to support Greenpeace now. It's like you have a program mindset, thinking you know better. It's the same when I go to the grocery store or whatever, and I see an old lady having trouble with carrying her bags. I just ask gently because it comes natural to me. Because it's like
what does that cost you?
well,
What does
like
that cost
yeah, exactly. What does it cost, right? Being nice or kind or
you? You made their day, man. You
yeah,
made their day.
yeah,
Do
a
nothing.
smile on their face, and I've heard it again and again. And I like you build your own reputation. It's like people demand respect. Fuck off. I keep saying to people, you cannot demand something of another person. It's earned. You have to earn that reputation. So if you're kind to another human being, well, you're going to get that back 10 times over. People have lost that concept when
And
you.
that is the image you create.
Yes! See, that's
Okay, that's the image you create. And what are you doing? You're helping people. You're being nice. You're being friendly. You're doing all these beautiful things. Okay, and that's the image you create. And what is the image that you should be creating? Well, you should be actually repairing yourself to get back into the image that you were born into, which we should be. And people do put themselves in images, and it's always the wrong one. And I for one, grew up. I had a question at school. I had to draw a picture, the image of God. And at first, I thought, oh, this bright rainbow coming from a point, and all these beautiful colours and all this. And then suddenly, I thought it's rather an arbitrary question. You know, I was 9 years old. What do I do? It's like, you know, isn't he an entity? What is the image of God? So I just drew a picture of a man with glasses and old head. And the teacher was like, "What's this?" And I don't know. He said, "Ask what God looks like." No one knows what he looks like, and that was it. You know what he looks like, or the image of God. And then today, the image and what it looks like comes down to images on screen. So they have no perception that there's a difference there. Okay.
Yes!
And then when you try to explain to people what the image is, they don't get it. So if the guy up the road, he's always very friendly. He's always very nice. So well, that's the image you should try and be in. People say that you should try and be in that image. But all they're hearing now is images and pictures and photographs or moving videos and that. But there's that image that's wrong, and that's kind of what happened when Jesus, when God came down to Jesus in God's image to teach us and all this stuff. All right. So a way of explaining that to people around me is God saw that we're all messing up again, and he's like, "Fuck this shit!" And I've done it this time. I'm going to go down by myself, and I'm going to show them what it's all about. So what happened is, said, Enoch, you look after me. There you go. We're all good. And then he starts turning up. He passes his age of 24, and Jesus starts going around doing all these miraculous words and things and fantastic stuff. And everyone goes, "Oh wow, you're so cool. You're amazing." And he's like, "Well, no, actually, I'm just a man physically, and my biology is the same as you. We are exactly the same physically. My name's Jesus. Your name's Bob." But physically and biologically, we're exactly the same. But look at what I can do. What I'm showing you this for is because I can only do this because of this body, and you can do that too. And he showed them, this is, you can do all of these things, and this is what you are meant to be like. And then
Yeah.
people go, "Oh wow," So he brings through that. He was trying to bring through that image onto the people, and here we are again, same fight, but it's harder or worse. I don't know. Maybe I was there. I can't remember now. I haven't broken through that much yet. But people get confused when you try to say image because they just think picture. That it's. But those are just the words. There's so many words around, all getting shortened, and they can't even fucking spell now. And there's,
See,
it's really
that's the power, because we complicate things. And what you said, oh my god, it's so true, when you look at it from another perspective. Because when we, for example, in my case, when we went to school and learn, I was the last generation in my school area who had religion from an early age, right? All of that, like God, Christendom, got pulled out after I left school towards college and university. And what I experienced as a 7 to 9 year old was fun happiness about God. Just awesome stuff, right? Just be you, and God will accept you. And we had this teacher who explored the stories, the lessons, not scripture and all that, just the fun side of it about being a good person.
Yep.
And it's the less every time because he didn't talk about, he showed us with his body language, his speech, his aura of just pure, he was called Ingolf, by the way, great fucking teacher. Like he's a prime example how people just need to be outwards, because every single story has a lesson, and it's the way it's spoken, it's the way it's taught that needs to
moral
change.
ending.
Yeah, it needs to change, because what we do is, when you look at the school system in general, is that you see programming, everything, like be a Marxist, be a Nazi, it's like far left, far right, build opinions. It's like, why are you forcing opinions on children? They need to explore everything, and you need to do it with compassion, simply like, you need just to stand there and let them explore these things. You need to be the neutral side of it all. It's the same with history. It's the same with mathematics. It's like, why are we having so many scientists? It's the same with when you go in a broader scales with politics. They only teach you one side of the story, never every perspective. Yeah. And it's mine. I learned so much more when I went out of college and university than I did at all being there, because teachers were programming us with thoughts and opinions. And every time you were curious or were like, why do I need
How
to?
old are you, Philip? How old are you?
I'm 32, so soon 33.
20 years. There's
Yeah,
20 years between us.
yeah,
What you're talking about with the things in school, I also remember those things. We had the priest come around every Wednesday morning, to tell a couple of stories from the Bible. They're always very interesting. I always look forward to it simply because of the moral endings,
Yeah.
and they were always fantastic. And the songs we always sang were "O Come All Ye Faithful" and "Onward Christian Soldiers." Two songs I find very apt for today's world. I do remember when I was 9 years old, I was in third class, and the it was I've forgotten her name now, Mrs. Carpenter or something. Anyway, she said, "Oh, she just said it randomly in class. She goes, now they're telling us we got to teach you that you got psychosis because you got voices in your head." Well, that's a load of rubbish. That's not true. But I heard that, and I
Wow.
suddenly, and that was the point. That was I remember it. Like, oh, I have voices in my head. I didn't think of it before that, and I thought, oh, and then I thought, shall I listen to that voice? And I was like, oh, is that really me now, or is that a voice? Oh, confused. Bang, straight for the rest of my fucking life. And even she said it's not true. The teacher said it. That's what we've got to teach you now, but it's not true. And then the priest was taken out of school, and we still had religion up until 16 years old. Which was good. You know, it was good. But yeah, as far as God and faith, I know we're going back to the very beginning here about where you find faith and all this stuff. You kind of realise that you had the faith at one point. Now I know when I started listening to Kim, I had faith was instant. It was
Yeah.
instant. It was every word. I was fucking. I told you, my life stopped and also started at the same point. But faith, after some of the realizations through Kim's teachings, the kind of everything is bullshit in the world, that everything is deception, and it really is
Yes.
everything. And when I saw that, I sank back into the chair, and I thought, wow, if everything is a deception, I mean everything, regardless, everything, then what is there left to have any faith in whatsoever? Is what is left after all of the deceptions?
Yeah.
And there is only one thing: God.
Yes. See, that's what people don't understand because going on the same subject with our teachers in general, you nailed it perfectly because after my teacher in golf went out, we had him for 3 years, like just before fourth grade, and then he just vanished. Every subject about religion was politically like and then you have that 9/11 stuff and all of that happening later, but then we got opinionated religion like Islam bad, terrorist. Oh, I was like, what is going on? Because everything we learned, it
Mm-hmm.
was joy, happiness, song, being a good person, nothing complicated. But
Yep.
everything became so complicated the moment, like, intelligence, should I say, like, all of this IQ shit came into the school. Because it's just like you said, man, because like at the end of the 90s I had that like spirit with it. I was like, yeah, man, I'm gonna explore I was so happy, everything. And then the 2000 early 2000 happened. It was like, fuck me, this is what is happening. And then people began judging each other. It's like, what is going on? And then I saw the real ugly side of the school system, especially in the social group and the atmosphere of people going into left, right, and center. I was just standing there as a child being the black sheep because you're not allowed to be yourself or to feel any different whatsoever because you have to go into a specific class or group. And I've been coming from a middle-aged working family all my life. So people look
Mm-hmm.
down on me because my dad has been a toolmaker and a machinery worker all his life. It's like, what are you on about? It was my mom was a dentist and a teacher early on. It's like you are getting judged throughout the school system as well because they want you to go a certain direction in education or be programmed to do a certain things or have this opinion. And looking back at it, just like you said, it's what they want because they got you then. They got you. And it's the tools they used, especially when I felt that. to divide and conquer, because then they got you, and then they can manipulate you into thinking, yeah, you need to pay attention to this politician, or you need to see history as Columbus was the first to discover America. Absolute programming. And it just caused so much chaos. And
It's all shit. It's all shit. My grandparents, I used to stay there sometimes. We had the news at 10:30. That's between 10 and 10:30. Then there was the national news. Then you had the local news for another 5 minutes after that. So they used to sit there and watch it, and then they'd switch the television off, and I'd sit there for 2 minutes in complete peace. And I asked them, "So why do you do that?" They said, "Well, we reflect on the day, and if there's anything I can do better, then I can do that tomorrow when I wake up." And they always did. They had a very peaceful life, very peaceful life. I've forgotten why I was telling you that now. Oh
see,
well, I was going to
see,
point back.
that's that. No, 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 no. Let's explore that, because that's very important. I hope I can get a kicker in that thought. So let's explore that with the family table. We sat there, shut the telly completely up, radio everything up, and just sat there talking about our day, or just being ourselves at the earlier stages of my life, just sitting there in the traditional family manner, just talking.
Mhm.
Later in the 90s and early 2000s, that completely changed. Like, we would sit in front of the telly eating, or people would listen to but we never lost that concept. We would shut down everything, but every time I went over to my friends, they would do that.
Mhm. Yeah, I
and
know.
and you saw that. It's like, it's the same with how people judged me, because they say, oh, he's quiet, he has very good manners. I never fucking cared about that, and I
Mhm.
got judged by it, because oh, he does his homework, he's the school nice kid, he's the teacher's little fucking nursery boy. And that kind of discipline is what they want. They want you just to comply and be stupid and just
Yeah.
follow in
They
line.
want you to be that polite little boy just so they can feel good about themselves that they raised a good child, but they haven't.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. I'm not going to carry on with that. Yeah,
but it's
yeah, I
that
know.
like toxic. It's that toxic relationship we see in the especially in the nuclear family, because it's gone. It's like, I just saw it in the early 2000s. Everybody was just separating. It's like, where is everybody? Why is nobody sitting at the dinner table? And we had that throughout my
I
entire
know.
life going forward, thanks to my parents. But even they,
Everything is judged, Philip.
yeah,
Everyone's judging everything
yeah,
constantly, all the time. All the time.
it's sickening to like look back at it, because it's a lesson, like, for everybody, like, to go back, stop going forward, go back and actually explore your childhood, because you will learn from it so much more. And that's ever since, like, Kim
You
woke me
also
up.
remember things you did as a child, which
Yes,
him is explaining. You
yes,
know that like when Kim would say that things would slow down when he was driving the car, and then that car changed for all those months, and things would slow down and stuff. And by listening, just by listening to Kim, what I
yeah,
keep on telling people, he just listened. By listening to him, he was saying things that I would like, oh wow, yeah, that's right, and that was one of them when he said about things slowing down. Um, I'm like, yep, I know that, and I remembered that, you know.
mm,
I remember that. You know what? You know what the most fascinating thing is that Kim said that I remembered the most,
yeah,
and I get lots of little different things coming through all the time. And that was my nan. And uh, strangely enough, she was a redhead too. That was the first one, but that's irrelevant. The thing is, when I was a child, my nan, even though she was heavily into the Roman Catholic, she always complained that they took the book of creation and the book of Enoch out of the Bible. That's all she
wow,
was saying. And she would always be talking about the fiery chariots, and she was always talking about Enoch and many,
wow,
many other things. Many things which Kim's saying, I'm like, well, my nan said it all the fucking time. All the time.
that's
It's
incredible.
really, it's but it's not to say like oh yeah, I'm doing the same as Kim here. That's not it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Those are it's just from what Kim was saying is I'm remembering all of these things. And then as we're all here for a reason, right? And it's all God's plan, and he's constructed the way it was meant to work out, And so I don't know. It's just a thing. Anyway, I'm just saying it.
But it's
I
true.
remembered a lot of things from what Kim had said, and it
Yes.
is right because you realise yourself, you remember about you, you remember the things that altered that affected your life in a good way or bad way, and how it did, you realize your bad things. We've all done bad things. We've done things we deeply regret. Now, but by remembering them is hard because you go through that guilt. And all I know now is that on my day of judgment, it's going to fucking hurt. And
Yeah.
I think it will with most people anyway. But, part of the parcel, you know, the regrets, remembering the remorse, it's all part of the parcel.
See, that's the
But it's
thing.
never,
Repent, right? I am my scars. I don't feel sorry about the decisions I made. I am my scars. I am who I am because of those decisions, and it's up to God to
that's
judge
very,
me. Judge me in the end, right?
yeah,
Nobody else can
yeah,
judge me. That's the conclusion you get when you are here
yeah.
the
No
way
one
you
can
are.
judge you anymore. It's only down to
Yes,
God. No one else can judge you. You have a
exactly,
judgment on
mate.
anything.
And I-
I'm not interested. Go away. Yeah, it's just
Exactly. That is
yeah.
the high peak when you are at this stage and be like, there's nothing that can touch me. I do not care. I know this. I don't believe it. I know it's gonna happen. I've
Oh,
made up my mind.
oh,
Yes,
absolutely.
and I've done it myself. I've said it myself to myself many times over. Especially as I've said before in regards to my dogs and my history with my dogs. Be like, I'm gonna see everything again. I'm gonna. They are with me always, and everyone that I explore this gift with are here in the same shoes as me. We're
Yeah.
exploring this wonderful ending because there's nobody else who can judge you. Only him.
No, there's only one. That's it. I
Yeah.
understand. That's correct.
And that's what
And you
people.
do miss one stuff. You miss your dogs. You know that the love is eternal. We all know these things. It is eternal. It is always there, and I'm sure they are always around you anyway. But it is, yeah, it's definitely there.
We have been dumbstruck so much in regards to the belief because we allow that belief to hamstring us, to keep us in
You
chains.
allow it, but did you know it? Did you know that you were allowing yourself in the first place because you weren't aware of it then? Oh, now
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Actually, I was allowing that. Well, it's only because you didn't know.
Yes. And that's the
Can't blame a person
innocent.
that didn't know. If a 3-year-old kid is touching a hot kettle, you can't shout at the child because he's done nothing wrong.
Yeah.
He didn't know. So you have to guide, you have to gently, you have to nudge, you have to show them, you have to make them realize by themselves, for themselves, which is exactly what Kim is doing to everyone today. They
Exploring
have
that
to know
innocent.
themselves. Yeah,
Yes. And
they have to.
that's the main point of discovering uh, your center, discovering your soul again, your
Mm,
center, your inner child, because it's the
yeah.
innocence of knowing that up is fucking up and down is fucking down, like not complicating things.
Sorry, mate. I've got less than 1 minute showing here. There's 3 times. Are we doing a fourth, or are we going to call it?
Yeah, if it's up to you, John, it's up to you, man. Like I'm digging this. It's basically what
What? Picking this?
yeah, digging. I really appreciate this. it's,
Oh,
it's a slur.
oh,
Like
okay.
I'm
It
digging it.
sounds like a venereal catchphrase.
Yeah, like call you in a second, mate. Call you a second. So I'm recording now again. Uh, what I'm seeing is that people need to broaden their perspective, right? And just be cool and calm about it. Stop being flying judgmental shite to the fucking four winds and being, I know better, I'm better than everyone. It's like, calm yourself. Like, go back. Rather than like taking 3 steps forward? How about you take two steps, one step forward and two steps back, right? For a moment, and just realizing I fucked up,
Yeah.
and understanding the wrongness of the situation. Because I'm
You can you can only understand those things once you know what they are. You
yeah,
know, you have to know those things. Once you've been told or you've read it or whatever you've done, or with Kim, you've listened to him. Only then will you know something, which then you can start calling those points on, like, oh, I've been wrong all the time. Because right now they don't know they're wrong. Like we all didn't before either. We just carry on, and stuff happened, and here we are today. But there's a lot of people out there who are still where we were once.
yes,
They don't know, but we do. We can make better calls or decisions on things we do and where we go and helping people. But it does take that faith. It is very important to have faith. I remember the first time I left the UK to go traveling. I landed on the island of Jersey, and I had nowhere to go. I had no job. I didn't know anybody, and I had £10 in my pocket. £10 was enough for one accommodation in the evening, which I did. And I'm sat in my room, and I'm like, well, I'm not going to do anything sat here. So I went down to the communal room, and there's a guy there, and we started talking. He said, "Oh yeah, someone's looking for work. There's a waiter in a pizza restaurant," and then I got my job in the pizza restaurant. Then I had some money at the end of the week, and I worked on. But why did I do that? I left the country with a bag. I had literally no money. I had nowhere to go. I didn't know where I was going. I didn't know what I was doing. But I was living by the one thing which I've always lived by all of my years, and it's very comforting, and and it gives you that. It's not even an ability. You just go out and you can do anything you want, simply because you always know it's going to be all right in the end. Always
yes.
complete faith. Doesn't matter what goes on. If you're a fight or not fights, but stuff going on inside of the house, and everyone's freaking out, and oh, what about this? What about that? And I'm like, don't worry about it.
Yeah, stop. Yeah,
It'll be
exactly.
fine.
Stop doing head miles. It is
It's,
exactly like that. Stop beating
it's
around the
fine.
bushes, man. Stop throwing yourself out there and thinking of the
Yeah.
worst, because that's
It's,
what
it's,
people
it's
do.
in that faith thing, taking that leap of faith. You got to take a leap of faith, sit down and watch some of Kim videos, unless you've come to him by dreams or whatever. I, I um I don't know about you about having dreams with Kim. I never did. I actually, that's a lie. Actually, I did once. Okay, and but that was, I don't know, 6 months after watching Kim. He came in. Have you got a question for me? And then he buggered off. And then I woke up and like, oh, well, that was weird. And then that following day, in one of his videos, he started saying for the first time, he's like, "Oh yeah, I've had people getting dreams and visions of me, and that's how they come to me." And I'm like, "Really? That like happened like fucking last night to me." It was just a coincidence. I
Mate,
don't know what.
it's so true because let's explore that for a second. I just found Kim through an accident of being at the deepest point of my life, right?
Suicidal.
Yes, deepest fucking like at the tip of a fucking knife edge, right? It's like,
Yeah,
and you know me, I was out so deep in the political sphere because I wanted to find unity. I wanted to find a safe spot, and that's the thing. Like we're getting so divided, and it's like there's nobody who's actually fucking listening to you. So
yeah.
I was searching, and I was searching for an answer because nobody was really
Really.
fucking, yeah. They had like I couldn't fit in, and people wouldn't listen to me, and I had everybody throw their problems on my shoulders because it's like you said earlier, we are building up a persona, like a mask or a personality to be this person rather than actually being who we are.
Yeah, that shield you hide behind to create the right impression upon everybody else, so you can get them to think what you want them to think because
Yeah.
you've got this fake shield and persona,
Yeah,
and
and an
no one knows
illusion. An illusion,
that.
right? A
It is.
perception. And it's so damning. So when, for example, I found Kim through, I was in it was just before the whole fucking world turned upside down in early 2020. I actually it was 2019 in December. No, no, sorry, October, when I discovered Kim. And what he was talking about was actually the Danish. I think the video is still out there on his Rumble channel. Was where he talked about the whole Danish political sphere and the environment the toxic environment it creates and how it's reverse. And I just sat there like I felt through watching Kim in the eye, just watching him and just feeling his aura about. I could do that through a video, and it's more or less the thing I wanted to explore with you because I could talk about it all the time, but what I experienced is it was a common a fellow man who's been at the same shithole and has the heart to actually listen to me, and I could feel that like confidence of being like, yes, let me actually see more. I want to like that like, hunger for more, right? That there was so much happening within me. I was like, this guy is onto something, and I need to pay attention. And when we talked earlier about people throwing out stones or mud for being judgmental, I didn't understand why people were doing that with Kim rather than just sitting there, listen, because they saw something from the outside of a person rather than looking through the eyes and be like. And so I had to explore that. I had to literally like see more. And what kind of like situation did you went through in regards to that, right?
In regard, what situation did I
In
go?
regards to the contact you made at the very first impression of Kim, like
Oh, I wanted to help them.
yeah. So
Yeah,
it's a confirmation more or less that you struggle, right?
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. The confirmation come for me. It didn't really come till later. At first, it was just a case of listening. Like I told you before, the first video he started talking, I knew he just went, and at that point, I knew that everything he said was the truth. At
yeah.
that point, I can't. I'm not going to try and explain it to you. I was hit twice at the same time. It was like I got punched in the head and I got punched in the heart, and it was
Yes.
bang, and it just went absolutely, and
Yes.
I was like, that was it for me. There was faith. I've never had that with anybody. I've never followed anybody. I've never looked up to anybody. You know, you just whatever, you know. But there I was, and I knew it was important. I
Yes.
knew it.
Yeah, that's a fun. That's actually fun because I had the same fucking thing. That's that. Okay, more or less. It's again with the consciousness. It's again with the persona that was like throwing that away. Be like, listen to the force of nature, literally going into this, but you're like, listen to this guy.
Yeah,
Uh,
here's everything he says. Everything he
yes.
says to you personally, everybody in the world, everybody,
Yep.
everything he says is relative. And you've only got if you were just taken on board and just let it sink in your head. Just hang around shops or shopping centres or in a town or wherever you are. Just let it sink in your head
Yeah.
and just start trying to see the people around you. Just watch them, and after a while, you start seeing things, not hidden shadows in the corners, but you just start noticing how the people are. You know, and I don't know where the people are today. I don't know where they came from. Is what I mean. Their hairstyles, the way they dress, the way they talk, where they act, the way they shuffle along, like as if they're just monged out. And I'm like, well, that's a daily thing for you. And you start seeing what Kim has been telling you, and
Yes.
then if it's frightening. It's massive realization. You certainly realize that you can't help everybody. You can't talk to a lot of people. You don't want to give up, but you know you want to help your fellow person, and there's always something to do. But you can't sit down there and like you and I, when everyone else we were listening to a while, you know, the perception has grown. It's very holistic, seeing everything and how it all links together. You try and explain it to somebody. You think that Kim's got a hard job.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally get that, mate.
You know, and
It's
it's
tough.
massive overlap. That people look at me and I'm talking to them and I know what they're thinking. They're thinking, where's the quickest gap to get out of this conversation?
Yeah.
I know what they're thinking.
Yeah.
There's some
Yeah.
church, some of them don't, and they question it. Even one girl, she goes to church quite a lot, and we were talking. She's a very very friendly lady, and I started telling her about the Revelation. I said, "Do you read the book 27?" She said, "Well, what's that?" I said, "Revelations." "Oh no, I've never read that." I said, "But you do go to church, right?" "Yeah, yeah, we don't read that." "Oh, okay." And then she questioned me. She said, "Yeah, but what if it doesn't happen?" I said, "It does happen. It's written in the
Yes.
book. The book the book is fucking 88% fucking prophecies, and they've all come true except for the last one. Is that not enough proof for you? This is the most biggest and fucking important one there is. You're part of it. It's crucial for you. Yet all the other prophecies have fucking come through. You look at through all of the other religions. Okay, none of them have fucking prophecies. You know why? Because the minute a prophecy doesn't come through, their religion falls apart.
Yes.
Yet inside of the Bible, every single there's over what 200 different fucking prophecies that have come true, all of them, and yet they're still today. It's just a complete out the fucking window. Like it does, it makes enough. If they've all come true, why wouldn't the last one be? Like,
Yes.
and then look at it. What's going on? It's all fucking relative.
Yeah,
It
because it
really
follows
is.
a pattern, right? That's the thing.
Yeah, man.
It's coming out in like it's the same. I've been talking, especially when you talk about politics and the climate in general, about that. What I've learned from that is people talk about BS all the time for attention, but when the truth comes knocking, they avoid it. They run away,
That's all
and
right. Someone's telling the truth. I'd like to see a few people run away. I want to talk to them.
and that's the thing as well when you have reignited your center, your soul again. When you are truly reborn, you
Fucking balance.
understand. Yes, when you found that balance within between right, wrong, and good and evil, you understand that everyone is in the same fucking boat, and you need to make sure that when you talk to people, you talk to them as individuals, and you preach the
But
solution rather than the problem, right?
they still don't want to hear it, Philip. Even
Yes.
when they're on the page, when you start talking about Wim Hof, for example, okay, I had one conversation. I use this as an example, and I was talking about Wim Hof, and she's a yoga girl. Anyway, she said, "Oh yeah, yeah, he does all this breathing." I said, "Yeah, he's actually studied all of the breathing, and he's formulated his own one." He said, "Oh yeah, yeah, but it's just basic. I do that all the time." I said, "Yeah, but I don't think you are actually doing what he's doing." He's also got the Nobel prizes and 27 world records and all of the other things that what he did with his twin brother and all these things. It's all there, but even when it was on the same page about the same subject, anything I said was completely dismissed.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but excuse me, I'm a yoga teacher, and I've been doing this for 12 years now. I know all about it, and they're like, yeah, but there is actually more, and
I see
still,
that. I see that every day. Be
only
it like,
know what they want to know.
yeah, and it's a problem because they think they know better. But when you try to help them, see, that's the thing. When you are being kind and gentle, be like reaching out a hand, like, listen to me. I can actually fucking help you because I've cured myself. I'm here now. Listen to me, please. They slap your hand away because
I
they
can't help them.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't.
You can't make anyone happy. That's what we need to realize. Like, they need to do that themselves. They need to do that, and it's just like you said earlier. They need to realize this is not easy. This is hard. This is just the beginning. People need to understand that it's so like I keep telling people that, especially in my sphere, like you think you master something, you are dead wrong. This is a journey that's gonna last to the end of time for you on this earth, and you're gonna take all of that experience with you, all of the memories, all of that shit. Is you gotta take it with you. Nothing you do on this physical plane lasts forever. Or you cannot master it completely because there's always something new, a new challenge, a new thing, every day. And when you try to tell people, especially when we talked about simplifying things, when you just say through common sense, a spade is a spade, it's just like Jeremy Griffiths says with the human condition, like Plato says, the death effect of their echo chamber, the egotistic side of their programming kicks in. Because at the moment you try to help them, they realize their own demons, which is why they get shit scared, because you touch their nerve or their spine, you showcase their error, which is why every time, especially in my case, when I talk to my political mates or people within freedom fighting movements or people on the street, they get shit scared of me because I'd be like, yeah, but don't you get that they're actually using you? Don't you get that we're being manipulated? Like, just small pieces here and there. And that's why I don't talk about politics. I don't talk about how the world is upside down. What I talk about is the human condition. And people get shit scared every time because you talk about basic stuff that is actually a much larger problem in the long run, right? And they complicate the small bits every time. Complicate them, saying like, I know better. I'm doing yoga. You don't. The same. I eat healthy. It's like, are you eating the right stuff? No, I'm eating things from the supermarket that is genetically constructed to be organic. It's like, it's everything in society, everything out in the world. It's just like Winhop says. It's BS. Full of BS. The world is full of BS because people don't want to face their own errors, and that's the human condition.
They've got a fake front there that know everything, and once you ask them a question, they get rattled because they don't have the answer, but they want to give the image that they actually know everything, but they don't.
And that's the humbleness. People need to understand that you need to be humble. Be like, yeah, so I'm sorry, and that's the thing. We can't. People can't do that. People can't say sorry. I've experienced that throughout my life as an existence. Be like, I'm sorry. I'm always been the guy who said sorry or forced to say sorry for something I didn't do. And oh man, and that's the thing when I talk about, I'm so fucking innocent compared to the lot of you, because I've just been this. But going back and looking at my own situation, that's why I'm so outwards, because I want to learn from you, John, or Lincoln or Lottie, whatever. I want to learn from these. I want to listen to everybody because it helps me grow as an individual, and that's something you understand the moment you cure yourself of the human condition. Be like, fuck me, there's so much more to life. There's like so many doors, there's so many hills, there's so many valleys I need to explore, because it doesn't fucking end. And that's why
I've been round. Sorry, carry on.
That's why they get so shit scared, because they don't want to. That's the thing, especially when we talk about the human condition. That's the that's the bubble, the cave. That's the, if you burst that cave, or when they want to leave that cave, you complicate the cave. You show them the lights outside the cave, and that's why they get shit scared, because they fear the outside the cave. They fear everything that isn't within the cave. And I just see that everywhere with people I talk to, things, because what they want to do, they want to twist reality, twist the truth to fit the cave every single time, be it sports, politics, day-to-day life, home, whatever, family. Everything is manipulated or twisted or corrupted in a sense that people live in that bubble of negativity. They won't embrace the positivity of actually spreading their wings and just let go of things. They want to constantly feed on the negativity. And it is especially how Jeremy Griffiths explores this through the faith and the confidence and the humbleness of actually letting go and admit, oh yeah, I'm wrong. So it's not the world that's wrong, it's me that's a problem, because I allow all of this negativity to rule me or set me in a set of emotions or destroy my perspective of the world, right? So, what people need to understand is their own errors, and they won't do that. And I see it every single day with people being in denial, and that's the thing. They are in denial, and that's
They don't know they're in denial, Philip. They
yeah,
don't know.
and that's the thing. We when we are talking to people, and we need to understand that we are victims as well as them, and we need to treat every person like they're a special child because we were in the same fucking shoes as they were not so long ago, and it's tough because we get a lot of no sayers, a lot of people who wants to feed on that cave, to want to stay in that safety bubble all the time, that comfort zone. But we also have people who actually come to us from the outside, be like humbled by what we are showcasing, that fire. And it's important because, I mean, just by listening to you, I can feel and see that it spreads through your children, your discovery, because you change your surroundings, and because you change, they come to you, and I can see that everywhere. But the fact is, they choose to ignore it out of fear, and that's just the sad part. We got to realize we can't make everybody happy. People are so deep within this programming that it's unreal, and it's up to the individual to let loose the chains that they have wrapped around their feet or mindset and let go. And that's tough, especially when you try. And that, when you look at Kim, when you look at Jeremy Griffiths, Jordan Peterson, or whatever, you see how the system slanders or manipulates or throw so much dirt at these people who are speaking the truth, because we got to remember the truth is the first casualty in any war, and we are in the greatest psychology. Oh my god, I can't even speak. Oh my god, I can't even fucking speak. We are in the greatest psychological warfare in human history. And people need to understand that. But if they don't want to see that or face that, well, we can't help them, and we just need to walk away, because if we follow them through this exploration, we end up stumbling ourselves or getting too negative or feeding off the same denial that they have constantly. And it's rough, man. It's rough. And yeah, I don't know in regards to your situation, but in my situation, it's a fucking mess. Cause I'm you know me, man. I'm fucking just a man child who just wants to just jump around and have a good time, man. That's my sense, alright. I'm just this happy boy who just wants to be with everybody, and learning through that, through my experience with my, that is it. I am I like I'm just that I'm just that wolf brother that just wants to be with everybody, right? I'm just that kind of boy who just wants to imagine a good place, but I also need to understand that I can't make everybody happy, because I want everybody to be happy, right? And that's also, we need to understand that realization that we can't do that. Like, we need to use common sense and be like, yep, I can't reach this person. I need to move on. I need to stop doing head miles like they are and move on.
Everyone's lost. Everyone's lost.
Yeah.
They don't know where they are. There's no real guidance. The morals are depleting. That it is for everybody. And I was the same. I know I was. Whether I
Yeah.
was in or out more or less than anyone else doesn't matter. I was still the same. And you do kind of like, you feel a little bit lost, a little bit not fitting in, a little bit confused, a little bit not understanding, and then you're listening to him, and you start realizing a few things. You start realizing that there is more sense And the reason is you're not understanding everyone else in the world that we live in is because you're not understanding yourself.
Yeah, it's
And once
complicated.
you're understanding yourself, then you start knowing yourself, and then that just starts growing and evolving. And in the meantime, you start realizing what the differences are between yourself and why you were always confused about everything else in life and people and whatever was going on. And when you start realizing this, then you start seeing, well, actually, I've been trying to fit into your world, which makes no sense. And now, from what Kim has shown me about me, I can start fitting into my world. And what is in my world? Well, I've got some very nice people now, like yourself and everyone else watching. And I've met a few of them. And the most beautiful thing about meeting all of these people is that I didn't have to worry about dishonesty. I didn't have to worry about being spoken about behind my back. I didn't have to worry about people just wanting to argue and disagree with what I was saying. That we are also all on kind of the same wavelength in our different characters, but we were all on the same page, and it's very beautiful. And I feel very at ease
Yes.
with these people because I know that I can. Whereas everywhere else, you got to be a bit on your guard and you got to be careful with what's going on around and who. Not that I care about them, not that's concerning me. I mean, but now I can see that the reason I was confused is firstly is because I was confused because I just didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
You know, you think you do. Oh, this is my name. This is how old I am. This is my address. This is my job. This is who I am. No, it's not. It's not. It's not at all. And when you start seeing all these little different things, when you start realizing, seeing, knowing who you are, and it just gets bigger and better, gets bigger and better, and everything becomes more lovely. And you see more love and compassion and beautiful things around you all the time. It grows and it's really spectacular. It's really nice.
Yeah.
And not just knowing that it wasn't me that was wrong all these years, that it was everyone else,
Yeah.
because they're all trained and trained and trained because of their schooling and education about who they are. Whereas I would kind of always try to actually did stay away from a fair bit of it, doing my own thing because it was easier doing it by myself. I didn't have to worry about anyone else trying to be the boss, trying to show how the right way was, make them a bigger person. I just carry on my own sweet way, and I found myself some very nice places throughout the world. And it's, but you have to realize these things about you first. And I'm saying this for anyone else that's listening to this that is here for earlier on in their stages of listening to Kim. It is, it's not a selfish thing to say that it's only about you, you know, but you have to know who you are. You can't, you know, you have to before when you start knowing who you are, your position changes. Your I presume your aura changes as well. I don't know. I can't see any aura. But you know, you just get bigger and better for knowing who you are first. Once you start realizing who you are, your bad things that you've done, and then you can start other relationships.
Yes.
It really starts with you, and it starts with listening to him.
So fucking awesome. That was so good, man. I really fucking felt that. That was so good, John. Because I feel the same way every time with you guys. It is a lot of work, self work. It is a lot of inner clickings and whatever takes you that you need to humble yourself. You need to let go of so many things that keeps you in chains and understand, fuck me, I'm not alone in this shit.
You've
Because
got to go through remorse and let it go, though.
yeah,
It,
and
it, a revelation. It really is an enlightenment when you
yes,
go through remorse and start letting forgiving, or when you go through these things, you that release of that guilt, if anything at all, it's really I don't know, uplifting.
yes,
It's
yes, yes, perfect word.
not painful, you know. You're not held back. You're not prison in these things. I'm still fighting the fight. I'm still fighting the fight. Don't get me wrong. You know, I'm not all the way, but you know, it's It's definitely worth the ride for anyone that's watching this. It really is. And look, and as I've said to everyone else that I talk to, you probably just don't believe me right now, and you think I'm a fucking crackpot. It's okay. Don't worry about it. There will come a day when you will remember this conversation, and then you think, "Fuck, maybe I should have listened to him."
Yes.
And hey, it's not about listening to me. It's got to pay attention to Kim. He's the man that's going to take you all the way. He's the
Yes.
man.
Listening to the witness, because for everybody out there listening, we got to wrap this up. But it is just like John says, listen with your heart and actually listen to the witness who's bringing forward the cure of your suffering, your struggles, and
Yeah,
putting the pieces together, because we're all in the same boat, you guys. Every one of
yeah,
us. Every
yeah.
one of us going through that same experience of,
Yeah. Just because we know we're not better, because we're
yes,
still here, and we're here because we fucked up last time. We're not any
yes,
better now. We just happen to know this because of through Kim, and we want everyone else to know that. Okay, we're not any. I don't feel like I'm any bigger or better than anyone else in terms of. Oh, I know this. You don't. You're fucked. I'm not, or whatever. I don't even know if I am. There's only one man that's going to decide if I'm saved or not, and that'll be God. You know.
yeah, it's not a competition.
It's
Um,
not a competition. It's not about me winning the race. It's about pushing the kids through first. Once the kids got,
yes,
because if there's no, what's the point of saving me first if I can't do the kids? That's going to be a fucking killer, isn't it? That in a good place. Oh, I'm fucked up on the kids and the wife and everyone else. But I'm all right, Jack. No, I've got to push those through first. Got to get
yes,
those done. And really with the kids, I really try and push it home with so many people about the kids. You got to let them be, man. You got to let them play. You got to let them grow. You got to let them be as they are. Whereas my
yes,
kids are so quicker and faster, and really with everything. They picked up a puzzle the other day of a wooden carving of a fireplace and all the flames coming out. All he did was look at it for a couple of seconds. He turned it upside down. He put it back in there and walked on. I couldn't even do that. And this is the type of shit the kids come out with, and it's incredible. You just give them something, and you watch them. They jump on. There's no planning. There's no rules. Oh, you do this, and I do that. No, they're all three of them. They just jump in, and they get it done. They work it
yes,
out
yeah,
instantly. And I'm like, oh, I didn't have to explain that because I'm thinking as the adult that I know more and I have all the better experience and education. I'm going to teach you what the best way is. But when I step back and let them do it, they find the best way. I don't have to teach them; they just find it. They do it there
yes,
every single fucking time, every time. And
and
I'm
it,
telling this to people,
yeah,
all your parents are telling them, do this, do that, do that. I don't tell my kids shit. If there's something dangerous, and I say, oh, they listen, they do it, and it's no problem. But for the rest of the time, they want to run around here or do this. You go ahead, it's all right. You make the mess, you clean it up. I don't care. It doesn't matter. They've got no rules. There's no boundaries, and they are fucking flying all over the show with everything all the time. It's just
incredible.
it really the difference is beautiful. The kids are first. They're the next
Yes,
generation.
and that's how people need to understand this whole structure here. It's all about supporting each and every one of you out there. Give people the tools. That is why we're making this. Give you the tools to understand. Work on yourself. Understand the principle here that it's just a support. This is not an education or whatever. This is supporting tools. And as John spoke about with his kids, we can put that into a bigger perspective as well. But just be the supportive person. Be like, I want to help you with curing yourself. I want to show you things, but you as an individual also need to be humble about it and step back and let them figure it out themselves.
You can't. You can tell them these are the things they have to be, but you can't really tell them you have to be. You know,
Exactly.
uh, they have to do it themselves. They have to see that for themselves. No one likes being told because of the world we're in today, because they already know everything. But when you try and tell them what they don't know, they have to see it themselves. You have to bring them in. They have to go and look at it, regardless of what we say. It, it,
Yes.
it,
So I want to thank everyone who's listening. I hope you're listening with your heart and an open-minded spirit here, because it's so important that you wake up to the human condition and what it does to you, and understand the beneficial changes that can open your heart, and actually the positivity of allowing that energy within you to spread your wings. Stop complicating things and preach the solution. And for God's sake, man, like, understand that you're a victim. Each and every one of us is a victim in this shit show, and this
But
is
they must understand why is it that they and us are victims of what's going on. They have to understand what, and
yes.
they do that by going to Kim.
Everything is
You know,
going to be linked in the description, guys, both with Jeremy Griffiths. I'll have some videos with Dr. Bruce Lipton. I'm going to Winhoff, whatever. Everything is going back to the witness, because he simplified it. He gives you the solution through all of the many pieces. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless you all. Have a good one, you guys. Bye bye.
the